Hey everybody, welcome to the Complete Game Podcast postseason episode 1, overall episode 70. I'm your host Curt Schilling. This is Garrett Schilling. What's up, G?
What's going on, everybody? Great first day.
Yeah. Kind of ending on a stinker, but the Dodgers bullpen's a big question mark, so we'll see how that plays out. But we kicked it off today in Cleveland, and um Tarik Skubal punches out 14 over 7 and 2/3. Uh an error, basically. They lose 200 runs, give the Tigers the win as Best closes it out. But what a game. Um, I thought there, and I think I remember mentioning this not long ago, talking about shutdown innings, which are the inning after you score, take a lead coming out and kind of keeping the momentum going. And today, Tarik Skubal, they go up 2-1 in the top of the seventh, and he comes out in the bottom of the seventh and punches out the side. And I think that the error, in a one-run game, anything can happen, but that was just a dominant performance. 107 pitches. Um, you know, the I don't know that he was tired, but you've got a game up, you got game in hand, and you need to win one of the next two, and they have to be feeling good about themselves. That's why I said they didn't care eventually about just getting in because the game one they had a park neutral pitcher, and today was that guy was an impressive game.
Yeah, it was the first of a few pitching matchups that lived up to the hype. We're in the fifth inning of the Dodgers Reds, by the way, just to give a live update of where we're at right now. Teoscar Hernandez just hit his second home run of the game to make it 6-0. So we'll see how that holds. But yeah, we're talking Guardians Tigers, and Gavin Williams was the guy who. There's been a lot of small ball already so far. Good base
Yeah,
running, and in
safety squeeze.
the safety squeeze sack bunt that uh, ended up getting Gavin Williams pulled with a first and
That
third.
was McKinstry, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
McKinstry.
yep. And then ended up giving the Tigers back the lead at 2-1. It felt like the end of the game, like you said, that shutdown inning after Skubal came back in and struck out the side. That's one of those like, oh my god, momentum killers. If you're the Guardians, you just had a huge reverse call at the plate to get the game tied 1-1. They went in your way. You're at home by a miracle, so that's a huge steal for the Tigers. Huge momentum.
Yep,
One thing I
yep.
did have a question for you though is, Skubal was pulled in the eighth with 2 outs and a runner on second after sort of mishandling the ball. He looked really frustrated immediately. Is that because he knew? Guy in scoring position, you're out,
No,
or
I don't think so. I think
just
it's just
frustration for mishandling it.
yeah, I think it's recognition that and I told you this, in October, one of the mindset changes for me was the winning run leads off the game. I mean, you literally, in my mind, it was one runs and no decision at best, and um, you just you make those mistakes, and those are the ones that kill you. I can remember a couple years back, well, a while ago, the Tigers basically committed like their pitching staff committed like this slew of errors. It cost them everything in the postseason, but 27 outs is never more important than it is in October. And, that late in the game, you're at 107 pitches, you're over 100. You're trying to get through the ninth because you want to be on the mound when the game's over, and, things like that. They can wreck, and that was it. And thankfully, Vest comes in and fixes it, and they get out of it, and all things go with that. But what a game!
Definitely got to
What a
bring it
game!
up because it's going to be a theme, I feel like, throughout this playoffs. The small things, the little bunts here and there, the walks, because Skubal had 14 punch-outs today, but he also had 3 walks, and that's the
Yeah,
only time it looked dangerous for him was he walked Jose Ramirez, and that was during the inning. They had to play at the plate. He had 2 punch-outs to start the inning. He looked like he was going to cruise, and then he walked Jose, and they couldn't have golfed 2 balls into the infield for hits any better if
right.
they tried. So yeah,
Yep.
that's just little things, which I guess we can move into the Cubs and Padres if you want to do that
Yep,
game.
yep. And that then we go to Chicago. Um and the Padres take an early lead, Bogarts on a Bogarts double. Um and I don't there was no leash on the Cubs pitching. Boyd threw 58 pitches in 4 1/3, and they went right to the bullpen, and it worked out for them. I keep saying I don't think Moneyball approach to pitching wins in October consistently, but what was it? Kelly and Suzuki go back to back.
Yeah, were you listening to the broadcast?
Yeah,
So they mentioned right during Suzuki's at bat that it was the part of the day where the shade comes over the top of the press box, and it's
yeah.
right at the beginning of the dirt of home plate. So it creates this like awkward shadow where the ball's traveling out of his hand from light into shadow.
It's one of the worst shadow effects in baseball. Wrigley Field always has been when the sun, depending on the time of day, the sun comes out and you're throwing out of the sun into a shadow or vice versa, and hitters hate it. And
that was in the bottom of the fifth, and it was a 1-0 Padres lead at that point. And Seiya Suzuki's at bat, and I think as they close the sentence on the wind is also blowing in, so don't expect to see much more today. Boom, Seiya Suzuki hit a no-doubter, by the way. Like, it was a laser beam into the left field bleachers, and then, yeah, you mentioned it, Carson Kelly, the Chicago kid, came right up after and followed it up, made it 2-1, and they basically held serve from there. The bullpen kept them in it. They got some late insurance from Nico Horner, who was 3 for 4 today with 2 RBIs, so...
Well, they won 3-1, and Happ and PCA went 0 for 7 with 6 punch outs. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
He was hacking at the ball today, though.
Yeah, that's it. Well, in October, well, it's different baseball, but
yeah, different game today.
Pavetta comes out after 5, punches out 9, threw well.
Yeah, he did pitch well. Only the 2 solo shots.
For the most part, solo home runs in the regular season don't beat you, but in October, they're things of legend sometimes. And Cubs won on a night when they punched out 13 times, only had 6 hits, 4 singles, 2 homers, and their starting pitcher went 4 1/3.
Yeah, Nico Horner. Shout out Nico Horner, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Cubs' favorite, hitting 2 in their lineup. Had a huge day.
2 for 3.
Or 2 for 3. Sorry, sac fly.
Yeah, yep.
To make it 3-1 late.
Yep.
And then, speaking of solo home runs, that seemed to be the theme of the most recently closed contest between the Red Sox and Yankees. Anthony Volpe's solo shot looked to be what was going to be the only runs for a while.
Well, we move it to New York, and we said last night, and October, anything can happen, and no series is over until it's over. But I was looking at the series thinking, and I think I said it, that for the Red Sox to win this series, they have to win Crochet's start. And I mean, it's master of the obvious, but I was, you look at that lineup and you're talking about game planning. I need to make sure I pitch to Goldschmidt and Judge and Bellinger and Stanton and make my pitches to those guys, and then Volpe hits a fastball up in the zone away, bad miss. Oppo to give him a 1-0 lead, and Fried was cruising.
He looked great. He really did.
Yeah.
I mean, they were talking about on the broadcast mostly Max Fried because for the beginning, I'd say the first 5 innings, he looked to be the better pitcher, at least because he had gotten after Crochet settled in, he got out of an early jam. They both looked dominant.
Yep. And then Crochet, for the most part, you've heard me say it before, you beat great pitchers early or you don't beat them at all. And, beating him was a solo home run. Volpe's homer, he was 2 for 3 today. And then, that last inning, my goodness. I mean, Chapman loads the bases in about 35 seconds.
Let's talk about the Red Sox taking the lead too. Yoshi getting pinch hit. Masataka Yoshida, that was a huge spot in the game. Some great managing by Alex Cora in those spots. I mean, I like Masataka Yoshida a lot, but
yeah,
that was before tonight.
Comes in and pitches for Russ Snyder, right?
Yeah, and then that was in the 7th, and then in the 8th, Chapman came in to relieve Crochet.
Right. And then like I said, in the 9th, holy crap.
5 pitches.
5 pitches in a matter of seconds. Bases are loaded, nobody's out, and you can't come up empty there. You just
Giancarlo
can't.
Stanton is at the
Yeah.
dish.
You can't come up empty there. I don't care.
Punch
You know,
out, fly out, punch out.
Right, which gets back to that modern day approach to hitting, the all or nothing thing. They were down 2. They needed a single, and I don't think Stanton has it in his arsenal to shorten his swing and put the ball in play. And that's what you needed to have happen. You needed a fly ball, you needed a sac fly, you needed something. You can't have a punch out there. And then who was it? Was it Chisholm? Yeah, that hit after him and hit a shallow fly ball to who was in right
field.
Abreu, who's got a
Weller.
cannon. There's no reason to take a chance for a double play right there. You're still, if you're going to do it, that's where you
Goldschmidt's
think
not
about
the
it.
fastest runner.
Right. But you don't want to run. You certainly don't want to make the last out of the game in a 2-run game at home. And then Grisham comes up, and I was thinking about my father when Grisham came to the plate, because my dad, I remember he always used to say, the one guy you don't want to see in the 9th inning is the guy that's 0 for 3 with 3 punch outs, because he's due. Yeah. And Grisham's had a magnificent season, and I've been an enormous part of that. And 0 for 4 with 4 punch outs. The Yankees punched out 13 times today. But we haven't. Crochet was a beast, and this is this
monster.
This is the guy, and when you hear me talk about true ones, and I'm not the guy who pitches opening day, but the guy who you give the ball to in the winner go home game, and there are a couple of guys that roll off the tip of your tongue, right? Skeen, Skubal. I think Garrett's in that conversation absolutely now. Those used to be. There used to be a couple, 8 to 10 to 12 of them around the game. Not anymore. Now there's less than 5, and there's the rest of them just throw really hard. And one of the things that, and we'll get to the Dodger game here in a second. It's going in the bottom of 6-0. But one of the things that I want you guys to watch as you watch the postseason is to zero in on the fastball command in the strike zone. I know I texted you early in the 9th, and I said, I can remember vividly Cubs Indians when Chapman gave up the home run in the late in the game on just a badly missed fastball, and those are the things that happen now. But I mean, he's been on a roll. He's got to be feeling so confident, and he wasn't throwing 102 today. He was still throwing hard. But he's one of the things I've noticed about him with his split and his slider, he's become much more of a pitcher. He still throws, and he's a max effort guy, but I really like the pitch mix. I mean, dude, no outs, bases loaded. Bottom of the 9th, you're up 2. You're not a guy that's been, oh my God, I'm going to paint the corners. You're a guy that's been who has walked the bases loaded, they were just one, and if you notice too, if you go through the at-bats, I didn't do it myself, but I'd be very curious to know, how many balls were made strikes over those 3 at-bats? How many balls did he throw out of the strike zone that the Yankee hitters? Yeah, the 3 outs. I'd be very curious to see that number, because I'll bet you it was more than 5, or it was at that.
The thing that you don't have to have an expert eye to know is that Chapman was not himself tonight. He came in throwing 95, 96, and by the end he got his velocity up, but he was all over the place. It was the Chapman people were afraid was coming to Boston at the beginning of the year. It was the
Chapman everybody remembers. It was the Chapman before the 90 straight games of no hits, right? Yep. It was the older Chapman.
And it happened like that.
Right. And that can't happen in October. You have to go the other way, right? You have to go from throwing in the box to throwing in the cup. And God bless him. And it speaks to the maturation of him as a pitcher. And I'm happy for him. I mean, the guy, listen, he's made his own mistakes, and he's all the things he's done in his career. But it's nice to see him find his way back. Especially for the Red Sox, because this was
against the Yankees too.
Yeah. and it's funny because I just watched with Mom the other night. I just watched Believers, um, and that new series about the '04 Red Sox, and I don't get. There's not a lot that gives me chills in life anymore. But there are some moments there that I just had never really appreciated, and watching him go through that ninth inning kind of rekindled that. I remember what that feels like. I remember what that having that monstrous half inning, and for me, my favorite videos off of this are going to be the Boston videos of the bars in Boston with the fans going batshit crazy after he punches out to win the game. But again, I'm going to tell you, go through those last 3 at bats, and you tell me how many strikes were made strikes by the hitters. And that's not taking anything away from him, because his fastball is 95 to 100, so you have to be prepared for it. But I never looked at him as a guy who you have to go up there and be guarded and jump on early because he's going to paint you. He's not a Rivera.
Well,
You're going to get a hittable pitch. I think Stanton had 2 foul balls the first 2 pitches of the at bat. Those are the ones.
They were there.
Right, and I hate to say it like that because you know how I feel about it. It's hard to do, but you can't miss those. You can't miss those.
I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's the guy you don't leave those up there for. It's if you go back and look at it with that thought in mind, it is terrifying.
Right.
You mentioned that you can't lose the Crochet start. How do you feel if you're a Yankees fan about losing the Max Fried start right now? Because I mean, he was pissed,
I don't think
visibly pissed.
Yeah, but I don't think I lost the Fried start. I think I got beat by Crochet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because
listen,
the way I would describe it is my friend on the boots on the ground in New York, who's a Red Sox fan, told me that walking out of the stadium, they're calling for Aaron Boone's head like Marie Antoinette because he pulled Fried.
Best of 3, right? Winning that first one it's such a different series, and again, you know what? I like it because people are going to say, "Oh my God, 162 game season might be over in 2 days." Tough shit. Win your division. This is what the wild card should have to do. And you had home field, guys. So if you lose this series, it's on you. And this isn't on Booney. I mean, I don't know. Let's put it this way. By the way, Ohtani just went deep again. It's 8-0 Dodgers. I don't know where Fried was in his head. I do know that in October, my gas tank was different. I had a Chevy 6.5 ton gas tank going into October. You didn't get tired because that adrenaline, especially at home, especially in Boston, or what I'm saying. He was at 102 pitches, and 102 pitches in a 1 or 2 run game in October is 155 pitches in April to guys that aren't October ready. I think Fried was perfect from a. He did, the moment didn't get him. He pitched as well as you could pitch, and all the things that go with that.
He was pulled with a 1-0 lead, and they immediately gave it up. That's why I asked, because he was
here's the
visibly
thing.
Pissed.
But here's the thing, and I'll text Booney and ask him. But was that a sabermetrics poll or was that a gut poll? Because what do I say? And I tell you this, I'll let you finish the sentence. In October, sabermetrics baseball does not win. It doesn't work. And if that's why you were doing it, then you're supposed to lose. Because here's the thing, Gene. Let's just say we have a 10-man pitching staff and we're going to October. All 10 of your guys aren't October pitchers. You might have 4 who, oh my God, you might have you might have 1 Skubal and 3 relievers, or Crochet and Bello and a couple relievers. But if you're going to go the other way and you're going to sabermetrics October, you have to have 6 or 7 pitchers that are October good that night, right? It was a 1-0 game.
And if it doesn't work out in the 2-1, 3-1 loss like we saw in 3 games today, then you better have 3 or 4 that can go the next night, or 4 or 5 that can go the night after that. Yeah.
Well, you're going to the same guys tomorrow night. You don't switch. You can't. So and by the way, on a side note, we haven't talked about it, but another blow to the Sox was Giolito's done, and that's not a small thing. But I'm telling you right now, the kid that I loved, and I said this when they made the trade, the lefty that they got from the Giants, the the starter, the kid, their number one pitching prospect. You know who I'm
Can't think
talking
of
about.
him. Yeah.
You'll come up with him. You'll figure it out. That's who I give the ball to in Game 3.
In the Devers trade?
Yep. Anderson, or what was his name?
Jordan
Kyler.
Hicks?
No,
Kyle
Hicks is
Harrison.
Kyle Harrison.
Yeah.
That's the kid. I really like him. I think that was the. I think he's going to end up being possibly
he
worth.
pitched a couple games before the end of the year, correct?
I think he is going to end up being worth Devers in the end if he's developed right. He's a 1A to Crochet, delivery wise, stuff wise. But anyway, and by the way, 8-0, which it doesn't matter if you lose 8 or 18-0. But Snell's gone 6 and given up 1 hit, punched out 9.
Yes,
and the hit was.
Yeah. He's looked on. I only watched the first 3 innings before I came in here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But now this is a game where you pull him now because he's at 70 pitches. You pull him now and you give your bullpen an inning apiece. And so Teoscar Hernandez and Ohtani both have homered twice tonight. Yeah. So, I mean, there are certain players who do certain things at certain times that make you think certain things. Ohtani leading off the game with a home run is so David Ortiz. Like, but again, if you're a Reds fan, this is what I would tell you. Tito will have them ready to play tomorrow. And this game will be absolutely meaningless. They're playing winner go home games now.
Okay, so that's a great segue into my show-ending question here. I so far look like a genius. All my teams that I picked have won. You picked the Reds and you picked the Yankees. Who of those teams has the better shot so far? Obviously, the Yankees is the easy answer.
Yeah,
how does that happen? The bats, or do they get pitching down the line? Does that bullpen figure it out? What do they need to?
Well, 3-1, 2-1, 3-1 scores today, right? I think I looked at it and there was I want to say there was right around 40 total hits in those 3 games, right? That's not a lot. I don't know. Bello's going to have to come up big. But that Yankee, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see today's scores being that way. Maybe the Red Sox, Yankees, and Williams for Cleveland made that a phenomenal game. But I don't know.
Crochet had a lot to live up to after Gavin and Tarik at the early window, but it did.
And I don't know. Stuff like that always kind of motivated me, like watching somebody have a monster day and me thinking, okay, I want to go out there and I want to outdo this guy, And think about that. I'm talking about that mentality of, I want to go out and outdo this guy, rather than, oh my God, it's October. It's playoff baseball. I'm scared to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a difference in mentality.
Right, and to me, that's Skubal took the mound today. It wasn't like, I hope I win. I hope he was going out there like, I'm going to bow up on you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Williams answered the bell. And if I'm not mistaken, let me go back and look real quick. If I'm not mistaken, the Tigers won on a day when they scored no earned runs.
It's what his manager has been talking about for the last month. We don't care if we play in Detroit. Right. We have Tarik Skubal. Right. Of these teams that are down 0-1, Yankees, Padres, Guardians, and then those 3 right now are the only 3 that are down 0-3 or 0-1. Who's got the best chance? You still think Yankees?
Padres, probably.
Think Padres? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Yankees.
Yeah, because I mean, well, and by the way, the Cubs beat the Padres today, and I don't know as much the Cubs beat the Padres as the Padres just didn't show up. You had 5 or 6 pitchers coming on the Cubs, 4 1/3, inning at 2/3, 1-1-1. I mean, I just don't know that the Padres showed up today.
It was also 4 hits, and if you look at all the Cubs pitchers, it was 4 hits for the Padres, and if you look at all the Cubs pitchers, they only surrendered 1 walk, and their starter Boyd didn't even throw over 60 pitches, so no one had to work too hard.
Yeah, that wasn't Detroit made a statement. Skubal made a statement. Boston made a statement. Crochet made a statement. Chapman made a statement. Torkelson, by the way, let's not sleep on Spencer Torkelson, who, top pick in the draft. Everybody was questioning whether he was even going to be there. Had a monster year. Bloop single. I don't care. Still and then the Dodgers are making a statement. I don't think anybody made a statement in the Cubs game. And I don't want to get caught up in semantics, but I don't look at walking away from the Cubs game as either team going, "Oh my God, we're going to dominate them," or "Oh my God, we can't beat these guys." I think everybody took notice today that in this postseason, if you're going to play the Tigers or the Red Sox, you have to win the games that Crochet and Skubal aren't going to pitch. That's the statement today. And by the way, Rollis Chapman served notice today. If we're winning after the 7th, game's over, guys. Now, that can change, but those are the kind of things to me as a player that you kind of take hold of in October.
All right.
All right, Bubba.
Good day one. We might be back before Friday. Let's say,
yeah,
let's
why don't we look at the schedule and see if we can get a day game Thursday or Friday? You let me know, and maybe we'll do that live stream.
It's the same schedule as it was today. 2:00 start for San Diego, Chicago, 5 for Boston, New York, our time. So
okay,
it's on
so
Thursday.
if those are all game 3s, right? Thursday.
Correct.
Okay.
If
so if we have a game,
I should mention.
Let's do that. If there's a game 3 in the afternoon, we'll live stream it.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, Bubba. Love you.
Looking
Have a good night.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Like, subscribe. We'll be back.
We'll be back.